If you want to learn more about the Dark Triad of personality and how it might help you overcome some negative personality traits, stick around for this video. We're going to talk about it. Hey guys, Jordan here, author and Destiny Catalyzer. I help people figure out their life purpose with the power of self-discovery. Now, the Dark Triad is the darker side of personality, so tread lightly here. Only take this kind of test if you are experienced with personality tests, if you have some more positive tests under your belt, like the MBTI or Clifton Strengths. Use this as a way to just learn more about yourself, but please don't only take this Dark Triad test. That'll be my first caveat. But we're gonna run through a series of slides real quick here. We're gonna explain it for you just a little bit, and then I'm gonna show you myself taking the test and the results that you can get from this test, and we're gonna talk about it and how it might be able to help you. So the Dark Triad explained. This is what it will look like. This is what the picture you can get in your mind. It's a triangle. You can call it a Bermuda Triangle as something you really want to avoid, but it has equal personality traits of narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. That's the three traits that we're looking at in the Dark Triad. It was coined in 2002 by two researchers. It's a grouping of those three interrelated personality constructs, malevolent personality constructs that I mentioned before: narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. And what it does is it shows you negative personality traits about yourself that you might want to improve. Narcissism tendencies are grandiosity, arrogance, self-absorption, and as you go through, as you see this list, you'll see some of these questions that ask these questions. You'll see this on the test that it asks some questions like this, kind of getting at, do you think in, grandiose terms? Or are you someone who is arrogant or self-absorbed? But that's what narcissism looks like here, and you can see the rest of that list there. Machiavellianism, that's hard to say, man, that's a mouthful. Named after the political philosophy of Niccolo Machiavelli, I think I'm saying that right. Cunning, expedient, opportunist. And I see some potentially good traits in this. That's where I think the Dark Triad can be useful, because cunning, expedient, opportunist, that doesn't seem necessarily bad. Sorry, we'll go back there. I think it's bad if these are used in this fourth one right here, manipulating others, or if you do so with a sense and an absence of morality. So the Dark Triad, there are positive elements of these, but if you're using them in a bad way, if you're kind of expanding on that part of yourself, that may not necessarily be good. Psychopathy: remorselessness, antisocial behavior, impulsiveness, alienation, low levels of empathy. You'll see that kind of with these three together. We mentioned that before. This first one, narcissism, lack of empathy. It's really, if you're someone that just doesn't have, maybe you don't have empathy as a strength, or it's not in part of your personality. It's something to notice here. Just because you have low levels of empathy, it doesn't mean that you're, a psychopath, or that you have the trait of psychopathy here. But it's just something to watch out for. As anything with these personality tests, you're trying to find signals that can lead you toward learning more about yourself and who you are to your core. Warning signs you might score high in the Dark Triad. You're an internet troll. There's actually a link in the description in this video. They actually did a study that internet trolls are actually going to be people that score higher in the Dark Triad. That's not me making that up there. Your Dexter, that's a joke, but just thinking about, Dexter or a serial killer is going to score extremely high on all these because they lack empathy. They're evil. So if you're thinking about that's someone who's going to score high. In all honesty, you potentially could score high in any one of these areas if you're answering the questions honestly and ready to face the darker side of yourself. You don't need to share this information with anybody. This is just for you to say, maybe I am a little selfish. That's not something I thought of before. Maybe that's something I need to work on. For me, I'm a big proponent of taking the Clifton Strengths or anything like that and focusing on what you're already good at and just getting better at those things, because I think once you get better at what you're already good at and what who you are to your core, and if you're living that out, you're going to have less opportunities to go towards some of these more evil and just generally bad tendencies. But that's just my opinion on this. But I think the Dark Triad can be helpful to point some of those things out. Before taking the test, as with all these tests, know that you're not the test. Don't freak out if you score high, and just know that you'll get out of it what you put in. Again, you don't have to share it with anyone. You don't have to be like me and post your results in a video. but you can talk about this with, yeah, you can consider it yourself, and if you do want to, you can talk about it with a close friend. All right, we're gonna jump into taking the test now. And I'll link to this test in the description as well that you can take. I'm not going to show you answering every single. I'm not going to show myself answering every single question on here. Mainly, we're going to look at the results, but I just wanted to show you the page where I'm taking it. So I'm going to go through and answer these as honestly as I can, and then I'm going to show you the results, and we're going to talk about how it might be able to help you a little bit. All right, I took the test, got the results. They're here, and we'll talk about that just a little bit. And we'll also talk about what I'm going to think about going forward with this test. I did think it was interesting. Some of the questions on here are really tough to answer, even as someone who's taken a lot of these tests. I definitely think I don't know, this is just me talking. I think the potential problem with a test like this is just it's self-reporting, and I think that's the problem with most tests. That's why you say be honest as you answer. But this is some pretty, people that really probably have a lot of these tendencies, maybe aren't taking these types of tests and maybe aren't as self-aware as they need to be, because maybe, I tend to think if they were more self-aware, maybe they'd be doing something to change that and grow. So I think it'd be hard to, you just have to think about what this test is really asking. I did try to answer some of the questions as in like self-importance and thinking that I'm special. I do have that tendency at times. That's typical of an INFJ to think that we're the best personality type, or we're so unique. So I tried to answer those questions a little bit more on that end, because I definitely have that, where I think that the things I think about and the things I enjoy are better than some other people's interests, and as whether it's good or bad, that's definitely something that I've had before. But let's look at the results. They give the population average, and then me here. It looks like I'm pretty close to average overall. I guess I'm a little bit more narcissistic than population average. For some of the things I was just talking about for the INFJ personality type and just me in general, I can see that maybe just slightly more. Less on Machiavellianism and psychopathy. I don't know what this means. This makes me 8.17% lighter than the average person. So that doesn't make any sense to me. Like that, I don't know if they're making a joke or like I'm lighter as like, I guess lighter as far as like not dark. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's obvious. I didn't get that at point. I thought it meant like you weigh less. Cool. How about you don't know that by this test? But anyway, it does explain the narcissism and different traits here, so that's helpful. It lists some references. You don't get much for just this one thing. For a personality test like this, even though this is just $6, actually this might just be, this is a separate upsell that isn't like get expanded results. So this is all you really get. You basically just get the explanation of the traits as I already shared with you there. But then you also just get this, how you compare. I guess that's an interesting thing to think about, how you compare to other people in the population. Overall, this is a test that I think is very interesting, especially to, as I was saying, with just that INFJ tendency to think more highly of myself. I think, again, like taking a test like this it reminds me of that fact. And it makes me think about, man, I do need to watch out for that. I need to watch out for when pride comes into my life, when I'm thinking that other people's opinions or the way that other people live their lives is somehow less than. Even if I don't really understand that or verbalize it, there's times when I think that. And I think that, that's something that this kind of test can expose. Whether it's, Machiavellianism or psychopathy, I don't think taking a test like this is necessarily going to show you, oh man, I need to go get some help. Because like I said, if you were self-aware enough that you realize you needed help, you may not need a free online test to help you with that. But I think where it can help is just about any test can help you in exposing something about yourself that you might need to think about more and remember. But I'd love to hear from you. Let me know how this test helped you. If you have any questions on it, I'd be happy to help. Put a comment in the box below. Otherwise, like this video, subscribe to this channel for more personality videos, and hopefully we can help you to discover your purpose. Have a great day. We'll talk soon.